Levels.
Levels.
So I wanted to start this week with what I learned, even though it's not what I learned this week.
Okay, I'm thinking, quick show, but, whatever. Sure. I mean, we've done enough of these, whatever. Fine. Sure. Let's go nuts.
Okay, so everybody knows Alan Turing, who cracked the Enigma codes, right?
Yes, and that was Benedict Cumberbatch. Sure, him too, his brother. Benedict Cumberbatch played him in the movie of that, right?
Right, the Imitation Game. Yeah. Out of curiosity, did you see that movie?
Was it a John Hughes movie?
It was not.
Okay.
They filmed that in 2013. Hughes died in 2009. So, no.
Doesn't mean with current AI that there can't be more John Hughes movies coming. Anyway, actually, I know it's not a John Hughes movie. And do you know how I know? You know how I know it's not a John Hughes movie?
Won an Oscar?
Nope. I've seen it.
Oh. Okay, so anyways, Alan Turing.
Oh yeah, the bit. Sure, right. Let's get back to the bit.
Okay, so people know Alan Turing, but the thing is, nobody knows his sister Kay, who provided the drinks and snacks and sandwiches for him and all of his colleagues.
Kay Turing?
Yep, that's the one. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, a weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Prinz, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. You know, sometimes I write these cold opens just to watch your reaction when you read what I've written. It's fantastic.
I apologize now for being a part of that. Wow. That was a long walk for that.
I still think it was funny. As long as, sometimes we just do these things to entertain ourselves.
Yeah. By the way, 2 follow-ups from that.
Okay.
Sorry. 2 follow-ups and a real-time follow-up. Before we started recording, I mentioned how a storm was coming in and it was like, ooh, wow. Rain has been pouring down for the last couple of minutes. My watch just tapped me. Rain expected soon. Thanks, Siri.
Thanks. Right on top of that.
Yeah. So number one, there is a statue to Alan Turing in a park in Manchester, which we've been to twice. So yes, not only have I seen the movie, but yes, there's a very nice, he's sitting on a park bench. There's a nice plaque. He's got this very nice view. It's not a huge park. It's very nice. Been there. If you're in Manchester, don't know why you're listening to this right now, you should stop by. Second, I was listening to a podcast from Seth Rogen and his producing partner. They were talking about the studio, which we'll mention later. And they were talking about the structure of the studio. And Seth said, it's really pretty simple. We don't have an A story, B story, and C story. Here's what we have. Set up the bit, play the bit, pay off the bit. That's an episode. I'm like, understand that. I get that. Just set it up, do it, pay it off. There we go. All right. Anyway, now there's an argument whether that was a payoff or not. Anyway, never mind. Okay, moving on. Where are we at?
Well, as I was coming in to record today.
Yeah.
Amy, you do know what today is, don't you?
No.
Today is June 5th. It's Ferris Bueller Day. So happy Ferris Bueller Day.
Man, that comes around sooner, faster and faster every year.
Right? Yep. For those who celebrate,
Well, of course. Yes.
Dankeschön.
Was there a parade?
I didn't have any other feedback from toddler number 1.
Okay. Lisa's been traveling this week, so I did not get anything from her either.
I got a couple of notes from from Doug Wilkinson from the Idiot Toddlers. We were talking about Mission Impossible last week, and I called it Mission Improbable.
Yes.
Because I continue to do so. Doug sends, Mission Probably Not. It's a final London jog. Mission I Doubt He Could. Ethan Hunt retires. Mission Difficult. Todd making it through a 2.5-hour movie in one sitting with no intermission.
No, that's Mission Impossible. That doesn't. Look,
it's not difficult.
Look, every movie I go to has an intermission. Sometimes the theater provides it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's see. Josh Prenz, the Dino Toddler,
Yes.
went to the U.S. Women's Open because it was like 20 minutes from his house.
Okay.
And sent us pictures. Did you see this?
You know what? I did not. I specifically didn't in case there was some content. I figured I could normally play dumb, but this would allow me to play dumb even better.
So we talked about prices at the Masters.
Yes.
And we talked about prices at the Players Championship. And so he was at the U.S. Women's Open, and he sent us a picture of the menu board of the food that you can eat.
Because apparently this is not one of the things that we do. Okay.
Sadly, he says, no egg salad sandwiches, unfortunately. He did have the loaded breakfast burrito, scrambled egg, potato, pepper medley, and shredded cheddar. It's only available until 11. They carried them around in their bags for a while and ate them some point after that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But he was able to write us a roving reporter report. So he seems to be okay. Todd, you want to guess how much a loaded breakfast burrito costs?
At the Women's U.S. Open?
Yes. In Errant Hills, Wisconsin.
Have you played that, by the way?
I have not.
All right. Well, I assumed because you didn't say which I've played, but I figured I'd give you this shot. I will say $14.95.
Wow, overshot the mark. Just $11.
Oh, see, at this point they're training us to think really high. So $11 breakfast burrito sounds like a deal,
right? How about if you wanted a brat? It is Wisconsin after all.
I was gonna say in Wisconsin that thing ought to be like $3.50. Like that ought to be like barely charging you for it.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And yet, because it's a U.S. Women's Open,
yes,
triple that.
Okay. Wait, so we're at $10.50?
$9. Yeah.
$9. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But if you just want an all beef hot dog, that's only $7.
Good to know. Yes.
So there's that. You could get your options for beer. There are 3 options. You could get Miller Lite. You can get New Glarus Spotted Cow.
Which have you had that?
I have that in my basement right now.
You've bootlegged that.
I have. We have talked about that on this podcast. I have bootlegged that. You could also get apparently some kind of Errant Hills Championship Pilsner. You want to take a crack at what any of those would run you? Because they're all the same price.
Well, they're not all $6 like they are in Augusta. I'm debating. Here's what I'm going to do. I've got 2 figures in mind, and
show your work.
Yeah. Show the work, right? So there's part of me that says, do you price it quasi reasonably and make it up on volume, right? So you're getting some food, make it just enough to add a beer, like, hey, if you hand over a 20, can you walk away with some piece of food and beer? Like, that'd be good, right? Because then you might be willing to go back.
Right. And if you're under 20, if it's like $18.50, then you leave $1.50 tip.
Right.
Yeah, just
which,
keep it.
yeah, which the people who set the prices don't care about the tips, but whatever. Yes.
But whatever. Yes. Yeah.
Or do you just say, no, we're making the money on the beer because that's where we're making our money. So the two prices I have in mind are, if you go for the first case, I would say, I'm going to split the difference. It would be like $8.50. If they're going for the second one, it would be closer to like $12.
Which one do you want to go with?
I'll go with the $8.50.
On the nose.
Yes. I was stuck between 8 and 9, so I'm like, screw it. If I go $8.50, I got a range to get a bell.
Very nice. Soft drinks are $5. Assorted beverages are $5. Dasani aluminum bottled water, $4.75. Sweet Lord.
Yeah, that's going to be going up. It's not for the water, for the aluminum.
For the, yeah, right? Yes. Anyway, thank you, Josh. Appreciate
Thank you, Josh.
Let's see. What else did we have? Do we have other stuff?
Well, Danny sent us a quasi-related travel story.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I believe a British Airways flight attendant went missing in the middle of a flight, and they found him naked dancing in a lavatory in the bathroom.
Oops.
Yeah. Which, of course, after he sent it to us, my first thought was, were you on that flight, Danny? Because that feels like a Danny flight.
Nobody was throwing up.
Oh, yeah. It was just naked dancing.
Thank you, Danny. I had one correction.
Okay.
Actually,
last week when I referred to ToddCon 3, I said ToddCon 3 Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's ToddCon 3 Last Crusade.
Ooh, that's not a good one.
No, it is the good one.
Is it?
Yeah. No, Temple of Doom was the second movie. Last Crusade was the third movie. Last Crusade was the one with Sean Connery in it.
Yeah. I thought that wasn't. Anyway, whatever.
No, that was the good one.
Okay.
Temple of Doom was the one with Short Round. It's not the good one.
Okay.
And then the Crystal Skull was the fourth one. That was the bad one. That one didn't happen. I don't. In my world, that movie never got made. I don't know. It just
gets
anyway.
Fuzzy after that. Okay.
Anyway, I sit corrected. ToddCon 3 Last Crusade. Sorry. A couple of pieces of follow-up.
Okay.
At one point, you talked about going to an F1 restaurant in Britain that was the only one in the world.
Yeah, the F1 Experience bar with some food, but yes. Yeah.
Right. And at that point was the only one in the world.
Yeah.
And since then, they've now opened one in Boston.
Okay.
And there is another one coming to downtown Chicago.
Oh.
So,
wow.
They're getting closer and closer. Nowhere that there's actual racing going on, but still.
Well, I mean, this is F1. There's no actual racing going on there either. So.
It's a fair point. So glad I wasn't in the middle of a drink when you said that.
Yeah, it's F1 Experience Monaco. Oh, we're going to see a parade.
Oh, nice.
Just sit in your car and just follow the car in front of you for 78 laps. That'll be $175. I didn't get to race. You got the full experience. Aww.
Let's see on when we did the all Apple quiz with Dr. Jesse.
Yes.
There was a series of questions about what operating system Apple was on.
Yes.
For the phone versus the watch versus the TV versus the iPad
versus the Mac. Yeah.
Versus the Mac. Yes.
And that kind of tripped Jesse up a little bit.
It did, because like 4 of them were the exact same thing, and he got it wrong on all 4 of them, even though we were spoon feeding him by the third one, and he still didn't get the third one or the fourth one.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, Todd, what's your iOS on right now for the Mac?
Well, okay, there isn't an iOS for the Mac.
Sorry, what operating system should the Mac be on if you've upgraded, as we continue to remind people to do?
I've completely forgotten about that. Isn't it 15.4.1?
It is now 15.5. No bell
Oh,
for
that's
you.
right. That came back. That came out. You know
Yeah,
what?
it just happened.
Look, here's the thing. I lost the quiz. I don't have to know this crap anymore. Like, I don't. It's not about me anymore. So that's cool.
How about you? Do you have any follow-up hit your feed this week?
Well, wait. You didn't actually give the follow-up. You just set it up.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
Oh, you set up the 18. You set up the 18.5, but you didn't set up the bigger thing.
Yeah. So what's apparently coming is that it's all going to be 26. They're now going to start naming their operating systems with the number of the year before they are released. So it's more like cars, like
the year that it will be the operating system for most of the year.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so 26 will be released in like the fall of 25. So
Yes.
for the most of 26, it'll be iOS 26 or Mac OS 26 or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. My assumption is that a number of people, high executives at Apple, who do listen to our podcast, heard that one and went, "Oh, that was bad. You know, we could fix this." Yeah.
Do they have a listening party with George Lucas?
Yeah, he comes over. He's like, "Hey guys, have you heard my favorite podcast?" Tim's like, "I haven't." Well, we should listen to it together.
I heard they did this special quiz just about Apple. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Jesus. Thanks. Okay, so there was that. A couple of promotions.
Okay.
Because we've started doing this now.
Sure.
ToddCon 3, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Why not?
It's August 15th. The party will be here at our house. There's also a Def Leppard concert at the Iowa State Fair. You can join in on any or all of that. Tickets are on you, though. So, also, ToddCon Breaking Wind.
I now possibly regret making that joke.
Till you come up with something better, that's the title.
Yeah. All right.
So this week, the Ragbri planners are doing their pre-ride, like their final, scouting ride to make sure that the roads, bridges haven't washed out or God knows what. Anyway, so they're doing that this week.
They're actually riding the route.
Right.
Every day on the day that they're supposed to be to kind of do does it work for bikes? Yeah.
Right. So Monday they do whatever, Tuesday they do whatever. So Tuesday of this week, it rained all day. And they said, you know what? We're good. So they didn't ride.
Okay.
In the rain.
Yeah.
And they gave some lame ass excuse about how, it really wasn't safe to be out on the roads without all of the escorts because they're doing this without escorts from the state patrol and that kind of thing that we have when we ride on Ragbri. Yeah. So they gave some lame ass excuse and just packed it in for the day and drove to the next town.
And they checked out the beer garden early.
Right. And I'm like, well, hell, if they're not going to do it, if it's raining on days that we're supposed to ride, I'm not sure I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'd already had the contingency plan of either day. If it's raining enough, we just may be hanging out at Larry and Sandy's. Like, hey, Iowa Falls, what's going on?
Did I ever tell you the story about when I was working for the Rural Electric Cooperative about how we decided how much rain was too much rain?
No, you did not.
Do you remember this story? So, because we didn't work in the rain.
Working with electricity, that does seem to be a good rule.
Right, exactly. So we don't work in the rain. And the way you could tell whether or not there was too much rain was somebody needs to set out a brick. So this was the phrase, "Oh boy, I think I feel rain. Somebody set out a brick." And you could, if there were 8 drops of rain on one brick, you didn't know about the 9th because you were back in the truck.
Wow. That
was the standing joke. Oh, okay. Oh, feels like rain here. Somebody set out a brick because, anyway.
Just to be clear, I'm not carrying a brick on my bike for the test. I was going to suggest you do it, but you're already carrying a battery.
An extra. Not just one battery, an extra one.
An extra battery. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, we'll be checking for bricks on Ragbri because I ain't riding in the rain. How about Todd's Tech Corner as presented by the Taylor Center for Technology Policy?
Yeah, you mentioned that they're going to be changing the potentially changing the numbers of all the Apple operating systems. The Worldwide Developer Conference is next week. The big keynote is on Monday morning. This is when they will announce not all. They'll announce a number of things that may or may not be coming to your phone and computer over the course of the next year. Last year, they promised quite a bit that never actually shipped, which was kind of bad. They also did a lot of TV ads around it, which has now left them open to a class action lawsuit. So this year, I think they will be announcing fewer things, because they're not going to be announcing things that they're not positive could ship. But anyway, Monday we will learn about some of the new stuff. Could be a new naming. Rumor is that all the operating systems are going to get a redesign. So these will all be for the operating systems that get released to the public in September, October, and November. So next week, I'll be back with the explanation of, hey, here's what's coming. And you're like, do I have to worry about this now? And I'll say, no, not at all. And you go, great, tell me when I need to. So I think that's usually what we do here.
Apple, overpromise, underdeliver, right? Is that how it works?
Except when it came to AI. It can do everything. Tell me who that guy's name is and where did I meet him? I can't do that. No. Sorry, forgot.
I want it to be helpful. I've got a little bit of follow up here.
Okay.
We've talked about. I think this started with a question about subscription services on a BMW.
Okay.
Where like you could turn on the ability to have heated seats or not.
At one point, they had suggested that they were going to turn those things on to an annual subscription. Yes.
Right. Yes. And then we talked about HP and their subscription printers and
Yes.
things like this.
Yes.
Right. And I think we've also talked about you buying things, but then really not owning them, like movies that you purchased.
Yeah, all the digital, like music, movies, all of that stuff.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. So have you ordered a Switch 2, Todd?
No, I have not.
Okay. Do you plan to?
No, I do not.
Okay, that's probably good. Because have you heard the story about the Switch 2 yet?
No. I mean, I've heard in general that the Switch 2 is the thing, and today I believe is release day, but I don't know. I don't know which controversy you're referring to.
So when you purchase it,
yeah,
while you're purchasing a piece of plastic, what you're really purchasing is the rights to play on that piece of plastic from Nintendo, according to the EULA. And if you jailbreak that Switch 2, your rights to play on that piece of plastic that you've purchased can be revoked, and they can brick your Switch 2. He's now Googling Switch 2.
No, please. I'm reading. Huh. Yeah.
Am I right?
Apparently, yes.
Yes.
They can disable your Switch for piracy. Well,
yes, among other things.
Although, according to this, they can do that in the United States, but that would violate EU law, so that term doesn't apply to you in the EU.
Well, that's where because I could have bought one when I was in Italy. They were there on shelves. I could have bought one.
Are you sure those were Switch 2s? Because today was the release day. So those were like Switch like spelled with S and then like two U's next to each other.
SVVITCH.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't look all that closely. You may be right. Yeah, they were next to these Louis Vuitton purses.
Oh, right on the corner, right?
Yeah,
right at the corner, right outside the Coliseum, right? The guy out of the trunk.
Totally legit.
Yeah.
That must have been what it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I know that place. Yeah. I got my Rolex from there.
Rolex?
Yeah, that's my Rolex. Uh-huh.
It's right next to my Hermes bag. That you can get at the Coliseum. You can get a Hermes bag at the Coliseum. It was fantastic. Okay. Should we do one of these? And I'm here,
Yes, Queen,
to remind Todd of the mess Todd made when he answered wrong. Todd ought to know. That's right. Best part of the show. That theme, thanks to the Dino Toddler, means it's time for Todd Ought to Know. This week on Todd Ought to Know, Todd, are you familiar? Have you ever owned a Volkswagen?
No, I have not.
Okay, excellent.
Lisa, I believe, has, but no, I have not.
Okay. Well, maybe Lisa will get this question right. But Todd, what product does Volkswagen make that outsells their automobiles?
Quick question. Is this Todd Ought to Know or is this Money or Nazis? Oh, sorry. Too soon? Okay, sorry. My fault. What product does... I'm going to give Dwayne here a second to recover.
Better answer than anything you can come up with.
Okay. What product does Volkswagen make that outsells all, would you say all of their cars combined?
Yes.
Volkswagen, VW. I will say, this is going to be wrong. I'll say tractors.
So this story came to us from Fortune magazine. Volkswagen's own brand currywurst sausage proves almost as popular as its cars amid automotive sales decline. The VW currywurst, affectionately designated component number 19938-500A, has been serving the company's employees and locals around its Wolfsburg headquarters since 1973. Made in-house by a Volkswagen-employed butcher, the currywurst feeds the company's tens of thousands of employees. You can also get it at the Wolfsburg football stadium and in supermarkets around Germany. Last year, I mean, it's not Dwayne guess a number. This isn't Todd guess a number, but Todd, how many million portions of currywurst did Volkswagen sell last year?
It's at a football stadium. It's been around. 56 million portions.
Oh, way high. Oh, way high.
I'll go back to my original one. 13 million.
Just 8.5.
Oh. Okay.
Still a lot of currywurst. How many cars did Volkswagen sell last year?
Okay, I'm going to be real clear here. I'm going to be clear. The price of a car versus the price of a sausage, I don't think you get to compare those two and say one is more successful than the other. That said, knowing that it's below 8.5 million, we'll say 6.8 million.
Well, apparently, according to the article, it was 9 million cars.
Wait, so I thought this was, what did they sell more of? Okay, all right.
So the entire Volkswagen group,
yes,
sold 9 million cars. Just the Volkswagen brand itself,
yes,
was 5.2 million vehicles.
Okay, that makes more sense.
There you go. Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
All right. By the way, Can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
How many years did you take German in high school?
4.
Yeah. And didn't you travel to Germany as ostensibly as part of a education trip?
Yes.
Yep. What's the name of the sausage?
Sorry, it's currywurst.
Thank you. Jeez. Well,
I sit corrected.
Our apologies, Mr. Rudy.
Here, Rudy.
Herr Rudy.
You sit corrected.
Jeez. Wow. Okay.
Volkswagen. Is that better?
Oh, you didn't have to go there because they've got the anyway. That's fine.
Anyway, Volkswagen selling sausages. You don't want to know how the sausage is made.
No, but if it's made on the line, like they're just like grilling it right on radiators and yeah. Wow. Okay. So if the car thing doesn't work out, they can just keep going right onto the end of the sausage.
Yes, they could. Yep.
Okay. So Dwayne.
Yes.
Are we done with Todd ought to know?
I think we are. Uh-oh.
Okay. How about we just jump into Dwayne ought to know real quick?
Okay. Dwayne ought to know how to pronounce currywurst.
No. Dwayne, you just mentioned the difference between the VW group and the VW brand. Dwayne, do you know all of the brands that are part of the VW group?
Oh.
Should be able to pick up the first one.
Audi?
That's one.
VW.
That's two. You're only missing 7 others.
I'm missing 7 others. Opel?
No.
Have I heard of any of them?
Yes.
Really?
You've heard of a number of them. A couple of them you haven't probably heard of. But a couple of them are quite famous.
Like in the United States?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm stalling so the toddlers can figure out what the heck I'm missing here. Okay, I know what's part of Daimler Chrysler, whatever the heck they call that now. Because it's not that. Is Mini part of that? Mini Coopers?
It is not. That
Okay.
is that brand, I believe, is owned by BMW.
Oh, okay. And
Also
not,
a German. Also a German.
also the German manufacturer, and it's not BMW.
Correct. Bayern Motorwerken.
Ooh, wow. Toured that plant. No, we didn't tour that, but we saw from above that plant.
Okay, I'm
I'm gonna
help you out here. So they haven't broken,
yeah.
according to their own webpage, they haven't broken out into core, progressive, and sports luxury brands. Under the core brand is Volkswagen.
Okay.
You got that one.
Yeah.
The one I didn't count towards the 7 that you were missing is Volkswagen commercial vehicles. That's fine. They, whatever. Don't worry about that.
No.
They also have Skoda.
Okay, sure. I've heard of that.
Seat, which is Spanish.
Nope.
And Cupra, which is, I believe, also Spanish. And Seat is being phased out in 2030, 2031, I think, in favor of Cupra. The last time we were in England, we rented a car and we had a Seat. So anyway, the next brand, I didn't expect you to get any.
You know a lot about a lot.
It's going around. Yeah, I've heard that. Okay, so the next one is progressive. There are 4 brands in the progressive category. One of them is Audi, which you got.
Which I got. Is
Yes.
Flow one of the progressive brands?
Turns out no, but you would think. But no, it is not.
Okay.
Okay. Lamborghini.
Really? Is owned by VW?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. Nope. Did not know that.
Bentley.
I didn't know that either. Okay.
And Ducati.
Oh, I've heard of that. Sure.
You've heard of that maker of motorcycles. And
Yes,
then
yeah.
there is one more brand in the sports luxury category. So interestingly enough, Lamborghini isn't in sports luxury.
Isn't in sports luxury?
No. This is an actual higher volume sports luxury car. Manufactured by the VW Group.
And I should know this.
You've heard this brand. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. It must be a TV show from the 80s that was my favorite. I don't know.
Porsche is owned by VW.
Are you kidding me? Okay, toddlers, you've got to let us know if you knew these. By the way, we're getting a Porsche dealership in West Des Moines.
Oh, so you're catching up with Peoria.
Peoria, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I know a mechanic.
I know a guy.
All right. Anyway, where are we now?
We are at the Scott Frost Memorial Idiot of the Week. The story that I brought,
Yeah.
I only brought you one.
Okay.
The Chicago Sun-Times
yes.
published a summer book list of recommended non-existent books.
To be clear, they didn't say it was a recommended list of non-existent books.
No.
They published a list of a summer reading list.
Yes, they did. And the writer who put it together used artificial intelligence to produce a story on summer reading suggestions, and that list contained books that didn't exist. The story, Heat Index, your guide to the best of us Heat Index, your guide to the best of summer, was a special section in Sunday's Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer. More than half of the books listed were fake. It's a really stupid error on my part. He was fired by King Features.
At no point did he... Look, all right. If you're going to use AI in your work, and a lot of people are, you should at least check the output before you submit it with your name on it. It's not the worst thing that the writer used AI to come up with the list. It's not great. Not sure what we're paying you for, but it's not the worst thing. But then turning in the work going, yeah, that looks good, without checking it.
Did you read any of these? No, I didn't read any of these.
I don't read this paper.
Yep. So my nominees this week are both the publication.
Yep.
And the writer.
Yes.
You're welcome. What'd you bring?
Ironically, without coordinating, I brought something very, very similar.
Isn't this 2 weeks in a row that we've done the same kind of stories?
Yeah. So this is from 404 Media, and they're reporting on, so it's, we've had on this show an honest to goodness book author who has written multiple published books.
Yes.
Then I read this and I'm like, well, so quoting from the 404 Media article, fans reading through the romance novel Dark Hollow Academy Year 2 got a nasty surprise last week in Chapter 3. In the middle of a steamy scene between the book's heroine and the Dragon Prince Ash. Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Sorry. Quote. This appears in the middle of the steamy scene. Quote, I've rewritten the passage to align more with Jay Bree's style, which features tension, gritty undertones, and raw emotional subtext beneath the supernatural elements. Close quote. Now, it appears that Lena McDonald, the author, may have used AI to help write the book. It is very difficult to find that book available on Amazon as the time that they wrote this. However, the online book has been updated and that reference no longer appears. However, screenshots appear on Amazon and Goodreads page. But this is not an isolated incident. In January, author K.C. Crown published a mafia-themed romance novel, Dark Obsession, An Age Gap, Bratava romance. And in the middle of a paragraph, it just says, quote, here's an enhanced version of your passage, making Elena more relatable and injecting humor while providing a brief, sexy description of Grigori. Changes are highlighted in bold for clarity. Rania Ferris published her pirate-themed romance novel. These are all romance novels. Rogue Souls in February. In the middle of of a paragraph, quote, this is already quite strong, but it can be tightened for a sharper and more striking delivery while maintaining the intensity and sardonic edge you are aiming for. Here's a revised version.
Hey, Dingus, make me a better writer.
Ferris denied that she used AI in a post on Instagram and blamed a proofreader.
Yeah, blame the proofreader. It's all their fault.
She said one of the proofreaders used AI to fix sentences without her knowledge. Casey Crown said that she does use AI on occasion, but that she'd made a mistake in publishing Dark Obsession with the AI in it. I accidentally uploaded the wrong draft file, which included an AI prompt. The error was entirely my responsibility. And Lena McDonald, the person behind Dark Hollow Academy Year 2, doesn't even appear to have an online presence whatsoever. So,
not her real name.
Or maybe not a real person. Maybe the AI is already just anyway.
We're 3 levels deep in the Matrix already. Now what?
Yeah.
It is. I will say it is nice that you brought this story on Ferris Bueller Day. One of the authors' names was Ferris.
Oh, yes. Sorry, it was spelled differently, and I didn't make the connection because make me a witty retort around Ferris Bueller that makes me look smart but not overly smart, and slightly smug but not unapproachable. Oh, sorry. Did that get cut in? Shoot.
Yes, because you didn't start with Hey Dingus.
Oh, there's my problem.
I love Hey Dingus, by the way. Hey Dingus made me laugh while I was re-listening to last week.
It is both effective to not trigger any device in your house and also really a lot of fun.
Oh, so you watch anything good?
Lisa's traveling this week, so I was catching up on a couple of shows. I talked about this like 2 months ago, and then I stopped watching it. I finished The Studio on Apple TV Plus, on Apple TV, on Apple TV. This is with Seth Rogen. I will say this show has been, a lot of critics seem to like it, and Hollywood seems to love it. There's a lot of very, very cringe stuff in there. Like, if you like cringe comedy, there's lots of it. A couple of the episodes in the middle sort of slowed down. The last couple of episodes are just insane. Yeah, are just, it was like, oh, here's your payoff. And there are amazing Hollywood cameos throughout the entire thing. So anyway, I would probably recommend it. But like I said, it kind of dipped in the middle. Anyway, it's pretty good. So
we didn't make it through episode 1.
Okay.
Are you enjoying this? No, not really. Are you enjoying this? No, not really. Should we find something else? Click. She didn't even get all the way through. Should we find something? Click.
Here's the thing. I get that. I understand it. Lisa bailed out. She's like, you can finish that while I'm gone. I don't need to see it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. The last episode is amazing, but like, it's just...
Do I need to watch all of the rest of it in order to get the last episode? Can I just skip to the end of the book?
You could, let me think of it. You might be able to watch the last 1 or 2 episodes together. It might be standalone. You might not get all of it, but you might get enough of it. And there's some guest stars in it that is well worth just watching it just for that.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? What are you watching?
Well, George Wendt passed away.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that. So we started going back and watching Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers. Night Court. So we started watching Cheers, and just as because we're kind of in between things, I guess, because we were all caught up on everything. We had caught up on Clarkson's Farm. We'd caught up on, I don't know, a couple other things we were watching. And then I got on an airplane and went to Phoenix. And everybody, you included, have told me that I need to watch Shrinking. And we need to watch Shrinking. And it's been on our list. And so I downloaded season 1 of Shrinking onto my iPad. And I knew I was going to have a long travel day the first day. So, and I didn't slow binge. I binged in about a day and a half between the travel and the downtime in the airport. And then that night when I got to the hotel and there wasn't anything else to do, the entire first season of Shrinking. And oh my God, was everybody right?
It's pretty good.
So good. Liz, love Liz. The next door neighbor. I mean, but this actress, oh shoot, help me out. Christina Miller.
Yes.
Krista Miller.
Yeah.
Krista Miller. She was on the Drew Carey Show originally.
Yep.
She was on Cougar Town. She's been on several things.
Yes.
And she's fantastic in everything that I see her in.
Yes.
Yep.
By the way,
yes.
Do you know who her husband is?
Is she married to Brett Goldstein?
On the right track. She's married to Bill Lawrence.
Oh, who's the other creator of this show?
Who is the main creator, who also has created and run Cougar Town, Shrinking, Scrubs, which I think she was on as well. Yes.
She was on Scrubs for a while. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Was he involved with Ted Lasso?
Yes, he was. He worked with Jason. So yes.
And Brett Goldstein.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yep. That explains.
So now that you've seen season 1, I think, let me throw this out. I know season 1 of Ted Lasso came out and most people were like, this is amazing. And then season 2 came out. And I think some people felt that season 2 was a little more, I'll just call it uneven rather than season 1. I think season 2 of Shrinking's better than season 1.
Okay. Well, I have been reprimanded
for watching it
without my wife. She now has to catch up.
Or you could watch it with her and just see it again.
I could rewatch it with her, which I may do. Yeah. And the other thing that I rewatched, and you have to, I'm going to show my work here. Knowing that season 4 of Ted Lasso is coming at some point, and knowing that I'm going to want to rewatch seasons 1, 2, and 3 again before it comes out, closer to when season 4 drops.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch it again too closely. But I felt like I wanted to watch it again now. So I watched it again now over the last couple of weeks. I watched all of Ted Lasso, except for the beard episode. Skipped that. Didn't need that one. I almost skipped the Christmas episode, but I really liked it. So I did rewatch that one. I did watch the Christmas episode. I like that one.
I mean, the Christmas episode is a quintessential British.
It is. Yes.
Christmas, literally Christmas episode. It could stand by itself.
It is absolutely an episode at a time. Yes. And so I watched it, but anyway, but I skipped the beard episode on this time's rewatch, but knowing I was going to want to watch it again at some point, I figured watch it now and then I could watch it again later. Anyway. So there's that. Did you learn anything this week?
Yeah. So yesterday, we don't talk about work much on here. I was on a I was on a webinar that is produced by a national organization that ostensibly to learn some information. But it turns out I should have paid more attention. While there was a topic to be talked about, it was basically 3 vendors coming on and talking about their products of how they solve. Nominally, it was to educate you on this, but it's like, hey, here's our product and here's how we solve this problem. And it was a sales pitch. Okay, fine. It's free. That you got to pay for this stuff somehow. Fine. And one of the people, of course, is like a national account exec or something. And I knew we were in trouble because he started off, and I don't know how many people were on this nationwide webinar. Could have been a couple hundred. I don't know. He's reading his, hey, why don't you tell us about your product? And he's clearly reading it because you can see his eyes going back and forth. But he's reading something he clearly didn't write because he's stumbling over words and phrasing. I mean, it's one thing if you wrote it, that you've got it in your, like.
Yes, in your language.
Yes. He was having trouble getting through this script. And I thought, this is really like, man, I feel sorry for him. That was the high point for him for the meeting. Here's what I learned. Later, when he was off script answering a question, he was talking about the plethora of features in his system. The what? The plethora of features. Huh. I think you got the emphasis on the wrong. Well, you got more than that going on.
You got more than, yeah.
Plethora. Huh. Yeah. I literally went, did I just hear? Wait, to be honest, I wasn't paying that close of attention. I will say this. If you're a salesperson, that's a good way to get somebody's attention, because I suddenly went, what?
What?
Anyway, so I learned that is, I guess, an alternate pronunciation. And who knows, I may make use of that next time I'm in southern London.
So one of my favorite jokes. Guy dies, right? It's time for the funeral. Family's there, wife's there. Preacher, gets up, da-da-da. Is there anybody that would also like to speak after, all of this? Is there anybody else that would like to speak? And guy raises his hand. I'd like to say a word. Walks up to the podium. Walks back off the stage to the widow. And the widow says, thanks. That means a lot.
Oh my God. Twice. You did this twice. Why do I let this happen? I know what I learned this week is stop letting Dwayne do this crap. That's actually what I learned this week. What did you learn this week?
So I'm in Phoenix, right? The show was at the Phoenician, which is a resort in Scottsdale. It's 20 minutes from downtown or so. And on Sunday morning, I am down in the hallway outside the grand ballroom because that's where all of the exhibits were being set up. And so I'm working on my exhibit and getting things set up, and this parade of really tall guys starts walking through the lobby. And one of the vendors next to me starts talking to them as they're walking by. Hey! And they're all carrying bags and stuff, and I'm not paying any attention to this. I'm working on my booth, right? Until I hear him say, hey, who are you guys? And one of them says, we're the Washington Nationals. And I'm like, huh? So I stand up and I turn around and I start watching them and watch this conversation take place. And I hear, what's that? We're a baseball team? Which Washington? Washington, D.C.? Really? Guy shakes his head. The player just shakes his head and keeps on walking. Me. Good luck this afternoon, guys.
It could have been worse. Who are you? Washington Nationals. Oh, I didn't know the Harlem Globetrotters were in town. Oh, no.
No. Like, you remember You remember the fake commercial in Major League? You may not know us, but we're a Major League Baseball team. The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting linguist Todd Prinz, wherever you get your pods. Just search Talkin' and the number 2. There's no G and no space. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. Thanks to our listeners, our sponsors, our contributors, and our roving correspondents. We appreciate you. And as always, you can send your feedback or your roving correspondent reports or anything else on this episode or any episode to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd, you've been working furiously. Todd?
Yeah, so I've been trying to work out which is funnier, and I have two different ways of going with this. And the sad thing is that the joke behind this, I can't figure out which one is worse and which one is funnier. So back to early in the show, you were talking about how a beer at the U.S. Women's Open is $8.50.
It is. You got that right.
What I can't figure out is if this was the men's U.S. Open, would it be $11.50 because the women's beer is 70% less than the cost of the men's?
Yes.
Or if the beer at the men's U.S. Open is $5.95 because if the beer comes in a pink cup, you charge 30% more, which gets you to the $8.50. I can't figure out which stupid thing that we have going on in our economy applies here, and I couldn't pick which one. However, I know it wouldn't be $8.50.
All of which is fair.
Ah!
Welcome to Economics on Talking to Todd. We'll be here all week. Remember to tip your waitresses or bartenders. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure we're going to have something we need to clean up next week. But until then, we're here. We'll be back. We're here. We're talking to Todd.
Hey, is that sausage from VW any good? Man, it's not the worst.
I'm just trying to catch up.